Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my August 2024 TBR. So, I'm a mood reader. That doesn't mean I'll get to all these books. These are definitely a pile of possibilities kind of situation. And there are other books that I might just randomly pick up just for the fun of it. So, these are just some books that I think I would like to get to. I am participating in 2 readathons this month to kind of to get a few things on my TBR that I might not normally. So we'll see how that goes. And then I have a lot of books a few books that I want to reread and some that I want to try and one I want to finish a series, but they're all massive fantasies. So we will see where we go with that. So let's start with my buddy read, my monthly one that I do with Berna at Berna's Bookies Adventures. And we are reading the Love at Stake series by Carolyn Sparks. Sexiest Vampire Alive is book number 11, which is our next book. I'm really excited for this one. It's a character that we've seen throughout the whole series. This is a paranormal romance series with vampires and a few other things. The world has been expanding in the last few books, and something happened in the last book that I'm like, where are we going to go? Where is the series going to go from here? And we still have like 5 novels. So I'm really curious to see what happens with this. So I think we're both really looking forward to this. So we're going to read this early in August. So that's just going to be fun. So as I said, I'm going to take part in 2 readathons. The first one is Women in Translation, and then the second one is Oldest August, put on by Lizzie Faye Loves Books. So I will have her announcement video linked down below. So let's talk about the Women in Translation. I go off of the one of I think it's Read WIT on Women in Translation on Instagram. I mean, I've been following them for years. And I'm pretty sure they're the ones who do it. I know there used to be some people on BookTube who used to do their readathon with it as well. But I'm going off of the one on Instagram. So I will have that linked down below as well. So I picked 3 things that I'm going to focus on for Women in Translation. I have not been reading a lot of translated works this year. I've been focusing so much on a lot of my fantasy series, and I've gotten back into contemporary romance. So there's been some kind of like a fluctuation. So I have all these translated works that I could read. And so I just picked out 2. I didn't realize actually I picked out 3 things, and they're all Japanese. But my high number of my translated works are Japanese because I've been reading them since a couple decades now. So the first book is There's No Such Thing as an Easy Job by Kikuro Sumara. So this is translated by Polly Bart, I think. Yes, Polly Barton, sorry. So I think I tried this a year or 2 ago, and I think I tried it physically, or I was going to read it and I just never got to it. I am going to see I have the audiobook on, it's coming through a hold from Libby, so I might try the audiobook, but I might also try it physically. We'll see. This is about a young woman who is changing jobs to jobs, like she works for an employment agency, so she gets sent on different jobs, and they're all weird and chaotic, and I think, all boring to an extent. So we'll see what happens. I remember hearing really good things about this when it first came out, and then I haven't heard anything in quite a while, but it's on my shelf, so I do want to read that, because again, I'm trying to read down what I physically own. And then I do still have Hiromi Kawakami's Record of a Night Too Brief. This is translated by Lucy North. So I have read several books by her. Strange Weather in Tokyo is still my favorite by her that I have read. But this is 3 novellas about 3 young women experience loss, loneliness, and extraordinary romance. So we'll see. I know they're kind of weird, but I've had this collection for quite a few years now, and I just haven't gotten to it. I even split it up to where the stories are. Like, I did it, I just haven't read it. So I think I've had this listed as what I'm going to read for Women in Translation before, but I haven't got to it. So this is, I think, the last one that I own of hers that's on my shelf. I think I've read everything else that I've bought of hers. So I do want to read that. And then I'm going to reread Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle by Clamp. Clamp is made up of, I think, 4 women. So this is a manga series that is connected to the one I just probably by the time this goes out, I'll be done with the XX Holic series. So you read them kind of in tandem. When these came out in English, I read them as they came out. So I was really involved in these series. So I just reread the XX Holic series, and Tsubasa is the connecting one. This has 28 volumes. I'm hoping to get to a lot of them, if not all of them, in August. We'll see. But again, it's women in translation, so it counts. And I really want to do a reread. So these are, it's 4 people who are kind of do a portal world thing where they all come from different worlds, different magics and different things. And they are all on a journey together for different reasons. So, they have characters in here like, Sauron and Sakura, who come from Cardcaptor Sakura, one of the other Clamp series. And there's other characters who pop up who are from other series and stuff. It's just, I really enjoy this. I'm looking forward to my reread because I have not read these since I think they came out. I might have reread them, you know, maybe 10 or so years ago, but I don't remember. It's been so long that I feel like I haven't read them in a really long time. So I'm looking forward to reading this whole series again, rereading it. So those are my women in translation books. So then for oldest August are Elizabeth at Lizzie Faye Loves Books. She said to, you know, like have lists of things, like the oldest book on your want to read list on Goodreads, or, you know, maybe a list of other books that are, you know, or your oldest book on your TBR kind of thing. So I went and made my own kind of list of things that are all oldest-ish on some of them. Some of them are the oldest things. So the first one is my priority of August, because it is a book that has been on my TBR since 1996. It's the oldest book other than a classic, because I'm not counting my classics in books that I've still have physically, that I've carried around for all these years. But it is Necroscope, The Lost Years by Brian Lumley. So I have had this book since it came out, because I was still in the middle of the second series, the series that comes before this one, and they're massive books. Like, you can't see them, but they're all pretty good sized books. These are horror, you know, vampires, but they have like a fantasy and sci-fi element. There's a lot of psychic stuff in here. There's a lot of ghostly activity because Harry is a necroscope, which means he can talk to the dead. And so that kind of sets off he has a lot of power, and there's a lot of bad things in the world. And he gets kind of caught up in all this because of things from his past. And this is talking about time that we don't see what Harry is doing between books 2 and 3, between the Vampiri and the Source. And so I've been putting this off for years because I wasn't ready to go back to Harry after everything that's happened in the books that happened before that. Because again, I read the main 5 books and then the 3 books that come after that. That is like kind of the next generation kind of thing. But oh my gosh, it was so like fantastical. This book, this series is just weird and crazy, but I really enjoy them. And I haven't read a Necroscope book probably. I'd have to go, I don't even know if it's on my list. I'd have to go back, but it might be 20 years since I read the last book in that other series. So I have several books on my shelf. This is the oldest, again, as I said, that I have that's not a classic, that I bought like while I was in college. So I got the audiobook for this, and so if I like it physically or audio, I can do that. So again, it's pretty long. All my books this month are pretty long. This is about 590. So we'll see. I'm really looking forward to this because I'm not sure how this is going to go. It had a great introduction. I did read the introduction the other day just to see how it started, and it was great to put me back into where Harry was at this time. So it's a great way to get back into the series. Anyway, so that is the oldest book on my TBR, except for a couple classics from college, which I'm not counting, as I said. But I was surprised because I found the receipt in there that is from 1996. So I've had that book that long. Anyway, so the oldest book that's on my currently reading on Goodreads, I have, I've moved things around to an on hold file, but this one I started over 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago now. And that is the Vicom de Breon by Alexander Dumas. So I've been trying to get to the third book in the D'Artagnan romances for a couple of years. I keep putting this off. I got about 200 pages in, but I keep stalling out. So I stalled out about 150 pages in, and then one day I picked it up and read another 40 or 50 pages, and then I had to put it down again for some other reason. So I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to restart from, or start from where I am, or I have to restart the whole thing. I'm hoping I can just go over again what happened in the first part, because I kind of remember a lot of it, but we'll have to see. But anyway, so this is, again, I said book 3 in the D'Artagnan romances. So this is the book 3 after, or after the Three Musketeers, sorry, and 20 years after. Is that right? Yeah. Isn't that? I don't know. Whatever the second book is. My brain is, I can't even see it on my shelf right now. Anyway, so I'm really looking forward to finally getting that done. Hopefully that's my classic of the month. Hopefully I'll get through that. I just haven't decided if I want to restart it. And again, it's like 660 pages. So it's a long one too. We'll see what happens with that one. Then one of my oldest sequels. Now this is not, there's some books in my urban fantasy series that might actually be older, because I've read like the first book and never continued. But I have plans for those series. Like those are series that I have to focus on for a whole year, because there are over 10 books in the series, and so I'm going to not worry about this. But this is just a 4 or 5 book series, and I own 4 of them. So I've read the first book, and then what I did is, so last year I reread the first book, and then I meant to continue, but this is on my 24 and 2024, because it's a book that I've meant to get to for now, over a decade, the second book. So I reread book 1, Mistress of the Art of Death. So the next book is The Serpent's Tale by Ariana Franklin. So I really enjoyed that first book, and rereading it was a lot of fun. I'd forgotten a lot about it because it'd been so long since I read it. So this continues the story a few years later, and it's still in the reign of Henry II. So I can't remember if this is the 1300s or the 1200s. I can't remember. But the woman is, what her name is, it's Adelia, is a master of the art of death. So she is kind of like a coroner back in the medieval times. So I'm really excited to try this one and I was hoping to get to it this year, but I did not, or earlier this year in March, for March Mystery Madness, and I just didn't get to it. So I'm going to count that as one of my oldest sequels that I have not, like a series that I have not continued. Because again, it's not the oldest, but I think it's really close. I'm just going to go with that. And then I have a book that is the oldest book that I've hauled on this channel that I have not read or DNF'd or unhauled. And that is The Black House by Peter May. So I got this. This is from my first book haul here on BookTube back in on April 30th, 2017. All the other books I've either read or DNF'd or unhauled. And except for 3 books that are in the In Death series by Nora Roberts. So I'm not counting those because they are too far into the series for me to read yet. Because I stalled out on that series, which I have to decide if I'm going to reread that series and start again. We'll see what happens, because it's a 60-book series. So we'll see. But this is a mystery. It sounds like somebody is, a grisly murder happens on a small island. I'm guessing off of Scotland, because an Edinburgh detective goes out there to investigate, and then he's also dealing with his own troubled past from that island. So I don't know how this is going to go. I'm not sure it's a book for me, but I bought this, quite a long time ago. What is that, 7 years? Yeah, so I do want to at least try it and decide if I'm going to keep it or not. Let me know if you've read that and if I really need to read it or not. And then the last one for oldest August that I have listed is Demon Angel by Mel Jean Brooke, because this is one of the oldest books that I own from an author I've read before. I have the whole series. So it's different from some book that I've read the first book and I just haven't continued the series. This is like, I haven't even started this series, but I own, I think it's 8 books. I own all of them. So this was her debut. And so I've read her books, some of her later books and stuff. So I do want to go back and try this out. This is a paranormal kind of historical romance. So we'll see what happens. I know there's demons and angels, and it's the Guardian series. So this guy is a guardian and he battles demons and vampires. Wow. Oh, I didn't realize that was in there too. We'll see what happens. I read the first chapter many years ago for a try a chapter tag. So this has been on my, like, it's been sitting there in the list of the ones I wanted to read for the try chapters that I just haven't got to yet. Again, I own the whole series. So I want to read this month to make a decision if I'm going to keep it. So I put this listed as the oldest series that I own all the books of that I haven't read. If that makes any sense. Anyway, so okay, so real quick, I'm just going to mention a few other big fantasy books that I would like to get to this month. That's already a lot of books that I've mentioned here, but there's a lot of books that I want to get to, so we'll see. So I have 2 rereads that I'd like to get to. I kind of want to reread Gold by Raven Kennedy, which is book 4 in the Plated Prisoner series, or no, book 5. Book 5 in the Plated Prisoner series, because I only read this once when it came out last year. And so many things happened in it. And book 6 is coming out at the end of August, early September. I can't remember for sure. So I really want to reread this. So we'll see how that goes if I get to that. That is the King Midas retelling. But it's so much more. You know, it just starts out that way with Guild. It's definitely one of those books where the first book really is small, like the world where you kind of what you're seeing, and then just explodes as the books get bigger and bigger. And I just love these books, and I love these characters, and so I kind of want to reread that. We'll see if I get to it. I might get to Empire Grass by Tad Williams. Again, this is a reread of The Last King of Ostenar. This is book 2. I'm in the middle of reading book 1, rereading that one right now. So I might get to this by the end of the month. We will see. Again, my goal is to get through the reread, this part of it, and then read the 3rd book, Into the Narrow Dark, either in September or October, because The Navigator's Children, the last book in the series, comes out in November. So I want to be able to read that as soon as it comes out. So I want to try to at least start that one in August. I'm not sure I'll finish that one. And then a couple that I'd like to try, Blood and Steel by Helen Schurer, which is the first book in the Legends of Thesmar. This is a 4-book series. I think it's all out now. I read The Slaying of the Shadow Prince. That's by this author, and it's connected to this world. So I have this one. I would like to try to get to this. I mean, I currently have the audiobook out from the library, but I don't know if I'll get to it or not. I might decide to read it physically, so I might not read it this month, but it is fantasy romance and has to do with a woman who is... there's a prophecy that women aren't supposed to be armed for something bad to happen, and she is determined to learn how to be a swordswoman and stuff. So I don't remember how it all goes, but I want to try that. I also want to try The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I got this as a birthday gift from Lindsay Reads, just this year, which was really nice. So I'd really like to try this one because, again, it is YA fantasy, but it has a lot of the elements that I like, which are like urban fantasy feels and psychics and other things. So I'm really curious on if I'll get along with this or not. But I want to try it. So since I got it as a gift, I'd like to try that sooner rather than later. And then, if I possibly can, I would like to finish the Nightborn duet with The Ashes and the Star Chris King by Carissa Broadbent. I keep putting this on TBRs. I keep hoping I'm going to get to it, and I just haven't. But I hope I will. I really, because it's been over a year since I finished The Serpents and the Wings of Night. I've owned this book for over a year, and I just can't get myself to read it because I know how the last book ended. And I'm so scared for my characters after what happened. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to get to this in August. If not September, it'll be like priority number 1. But I'm going to hope for August. We'll see what happens. So those are all the books that I'd like to get to. There's so many other things on my TBR that I'd love to read too as well. And I'll probably intermix some more lighthearted stuff as well. But these are all the things that are just calling for me, and I really want to get to them, or at least try them and decide if I'm going to keep them or get rid of them. So let me know if you are taking part in any readathons in August. I know there's quite a lot of stuff going on. I pick the ones that worked for me. If there was any of these books that you think I need to get to, for sure, like, make sure you get to that one. Let me know what that is, or let me know what you're reading in August, and me and Cooper will see you guys later. Bye.